r/AskReddit. What is most why the duck? Do you know that fact? Fidel Castro loved dairy so much that he invested in trying to breed a cow that could survive in the climate of Cuba and still produce a lot of milk. He failed over and over for years until one day a cow that was exactly to his specifications. She produced obscene, record-breaking amounts of milk even for a regular cow and could live in Cuba's sweltering climate. There were regular updates on her health in the Cuban national newspaper, and he loved her so much that when she died he erected a huge marble statue of her in her honor. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was a really popular novel and was made into a stage play. The actor playing the eponymous role, S, was so good at switching from the good doctor to the evil Hyde that people wrote to the police claiming that he absolutely had to be the real Jack the Ripper, who was thought likely to be a qualified doctor based on the way he dissected his victims. They thought no normal person would be able to make such a transformation. You can fit X8, 250 pounds, intact, human bodies, supine, in the back of a 2001 Subaru Outback wagon. Fold down the back seat and toss them in. Source: moved training dummies for an army first aid class. Got pulled over because a hand was out and reaching. Sheriff walked up, saw the dummies, laughed and told me to have a nice day after explaining the call. In order to get bones really white, it's best to leave them in bucket of hydrogen peroxide, ideally between 3-6%, for a minimum of 48 hours, or up to a week. It's easy to buy online, but not so easy to buy in large quantities, as it can also be used to make bombs. The defense mechanism of the sea cucumber is to eject its toxic internal organs out of its anus, causing the predator to eat them and die. Also, they reproduce by having the female shoot out the egg cell and the male shooting the sperm at it. Rams are about the same size as football players. The iconic curled horns of a male bighorn sheep can weigh up to 30 pounds, which is more than all the bones in his body combined. From head to tail, rams usually fall somewhere between 5 to 6 feet long, and they tend to tip the scales at 260 to 280 pounds, occasionally exceeding 300 pounds. If you put a needle into the gum line between the 7th and 8th tooth, you'll hit a nerve that runs past your nose and up to behind your eye. Hitting this nerve causes excruciating pain that no painkiller will help you with. You'll basically need to be given local anesthetic or put in an induced coma to stop feeling it. It would only take about a month and a half to collect enough shed skin cells to completely replace the flour in a traditional pound cake recipe, about 438 grams. We shed about 9 pounds of dead skin each year, and 438 g is only 0.966 pounds. So at a rate of 0.75 pounds of skin per month, you would only need a way to collect shed skin for a little over 5 weeks. Being high in protein, your skin flour should have a consistency close to a bean flour and can be used in a similar way to make a pound cake. It would take between 5 and 6 weeks to make a skin cake. Lice are the human equivalent of fleas, but unlike other species, humans have different types that are exclusive to different parts of the body. Head lice, body lice and pubic lice. Head lice and body lice have always lived on humans, from way back to when we had more hair on our entire bodies. As we evolved and lost most of that hair, some lice favored our head hair to the remnants of our body hair, choosing to live and lay eggs there, and body lice migrated to our clothing and bedding, choosing only to feed on us then leave. But pubic lice is different. Look at photos of pubic lice, and they even appear very different from head and body lice. That's because they adapted to live on humans. They didn't originate there, and the closest relative of pubic lice are gorilla lice. About 3 to 4 million years ago they shared an ancestor, humans, and gorillas' last shared ancestor was over 7 million years ago. Make of that what you will. If you need to hide a body, the best way to do it is to remove the hands and teeth to prevent identification. If they can't identify the body, they can't possibly link the victim to you, since they don't know who they are, and dispose of them elsewhere. You can also pour yogurt into the anus to help speed up the decomposition process, further preventing identification. If you must bury the body, make sure to bury them vertically, as aerial searches will look for disturbed ground about 6 feet or so long. Also, bury a dead animal about a foot on top of the dead body so, when cadaver dogs will alert, they will find the dead animal and the searchers will assume it was a false positive then move on. Edit. Holy shit. Thank you guys. I would like to clarify some things. First of all, I'm a woman. Second of all, the reason why I know all this was back when I was a teenager up until my early 20s I was determined to write a novel, one that involved death and murder and all that wonderful stuff. That never happened obviously, but while I was researching for said novel, I learned about some of the things mentioned above. I already know I might be on an FBI list, or several. I'm actually quite docile in real life and I don't think I'm capable of killing anybody or dismembering any dead bodies, or for certain I don't think I have it in me to harm animals either. That child marriage is legal in certain parts of the US. People as young as 11 will get married off to grown adults by their parents. This voids the age of consent, and in many places they're not allowed to file for divorce until they come of age, meaning they're stuck powerless with some sick abusive child molester by law. This got some attention a couple years back, but it's still allowed in some states. And from what I can tell most people forgot again. If you ask me, this should be the biggest concern in America right now. This is what we should be asking the presidential candidates, how they intend to end this. Bees can vibrate their bodies super fast, which produces a lot heat. In order for a hive to defend themselves from intruders, like wasps, they will dogpile the wasp while vibrating, and it will eventually cook the wasp alive. Edit. Here's another weird bee fact I know. After mating, a male bee's penis will explode, and then they die. I've got a few. 1. According to question, the caps at the end of shoelaces are called aglets and their true purpose is sinister. 2. Strawberries are not actually berries. Bananas however are. 3. The term "not even a pot" to piss in came from tanneries using human urine to dye items. This meant that poor households would sell their urine to tanneries, the issue being that, if you were that poor you couldn't even afford a pot in the first place. 4. The record for the most children born to one woman is held by a farmer's wife, Valentina something, and she gave birth to 69 children across her lifetime, the majority of which obviously being multiple births of quadruplets, triplets and twins. 5. The record for the most children fathered by one man belongs to a Moroccan noble who fathered in excess of 1,500 children across his lifetime. 6. A personal favorite of mine. The release of the film Jaws had such an impact upon people's view of the ocean that the Professional Association of Diving Instructors PADI reported that their numbers had dropped by somewhere around 60%. Crocodiles are part of an order of predatory, semi-aquatic reptiles known as crocodilians. They appeared 95 million years ago, and their closest living relatives are birds such as they are the only two species that survived the Archosauria. But the actual interesting part is they have 4 hearts. This is because they need to reduce oxygen loss when underwater. Their heart on average beats about 2/3 times per minute. This is to normalize the amount of time they have underwater, which is typically 10 to 15 minutes, but can be up to 30 minutes. They can also go up to 3 years without food in extreme cases. A raccoon can fit into a hole 4 inches wide. Your rectum is on average 2.5 inches wide, but can stretch to 8 inches wide without any permanent damage. A raccoon can literally crawl up your asshole. Don't ever underestimate raccoons.